All right, trying again to go live with Lainie to speak about the Sacred Revolution Oracle deck. And in celebration of that, I put some little sparkles as a filter. Lainie's here. All right, I've invited you.
Hey!
Oh,
We got it this time. Let
it
me see if I can
worked.
adjust my video here so that there we go. Hello.
Beautiful, beautiful. We made it. I don't know if you can see, but as a celebration of speaking about this deck, I put a little sparkly filter. So,
Oh, I see a couple things sparkling. I need to know how to do that next time.
okay, brilliant, brilliant. So, welcome to people who are joining. Beautiful to see you all. Hello, Lainey. It's so lovely to see you too.
Hello,
And
beloved.
super excited to speak quickly or just to speak as much as we can about the creative process that went into this. It's so sparkly, the Sacred Revolution Oracle deck, and also the work. It's so surreal holding it in my hand. The work that we did together on the guidebook that during those 5 epic days back in August. So yeah, let's begin. First of all, just for people who are watching, just and people who might not know you at all or about this deck, like, can you tell me a bit more about, like, as succinctly as you can, although I know it's been like a lifelong journey for you to birth this, but how was this process of bringing this oracle deck to life?
Ooh, well, I mean, I am a transformational catalyst, and my greatest passion is personal and planetary transformation. And I'm really on a mission to co-create a constellation of millions of star beings that are sparkling shamelessly for the good of all, to help flood the house of humanity with light, love, and healing. And you can even see the constellation of us sparkling inside the box. And so for me, this deck is really a profound rebirth journey. And a lot of the artworks, were coming through over the last 8 to 10 years. And many of the works, like the one behind here, they're very large, and they were distilled down into these very small medicine pills because each of them is a little circle. And so, these large collages that are all mixed media, multimedia, there's painting, there's crystals, there's intentions. Some of them have up to 80 layers in them of just power and intensity for transformation, really. They're really about helping us to ignite galactic Gaia unity consciousness and bring about the ascension of humanity. And the core essence of what the Sacred Revolution is about is igniting love and reverence for the body, for the earth, for each other, and that web of all life, so that we can activate our full authentic star power, our sovereignty, and really be in the fullest essence and truth of who we're here to be. So it's a homecoming, in a sense, this deck. And this is the title of this piece, the card. It's the Great Homecoming. And it's really about coming home to the truth of who we are, the truth of who we've always been, and who we're here to be, both individually and collectively. And so, last year I started getting the whispers of what I thought was a book, and Spirit was like, no, it's an oracle deck, and the time is now. And what I've realized, and I'm so grateful that this has arrived now at this time, is because this is a tool to support us through the upcoming Pluto return of the USA that's going to affect the whole world. And, this deck has gone global, which is so very exciting. It's gone to over 14 countries now, and it's gone to all 50 states. And, it really has seeded its presence. And I actually went to Mount Shasta, which is the root chakra of the earth, and I planted the oracle deck at the base of Mount Shasta. and, you know, really rooted it here on earth, because I really wanted to root the intentions and the prayers and the transformation that is available. And for me, this was an alchemical healing journey to create it. And also that is what is possible for those who experience it, because everything I create is an alchemical container of transformation. Usually it's immersions and initiations and live sacred circles and events, but this is also its own container of alchemical transformation. When you open it, you truly can transform your entire life and rebirth yourself if you desire to go all the way in. And the other part about the deck that I want to share is that it's the first of its kind because it's multimedia and multidimensional. And so each of the 50 cards has an ecstatic embodiment practice to help you really anchor it into your body and into your being, to really take in and fully integrate the teachings and the medicine that is in each of these shamanic healing art pieces and the divinatory messages and channeled messages from the deck. So that's the very short story.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And yeah, I was going to say, I recognize that piece behind you from one of the cards. And I think it even came up in one of my readings. But yeah, I love that story. And obviously, like I've known you for a bit more than a year now. So I've also witnessed you on the journey, which was so challenging at times, just to be the receptacle to all of that, just being made manifest through you. And I'm wondering, like, when the whisper came that it should be like an oracle deck rather than a book, how did you feel, and how did you like welcome that? Because obviously it's one thing to write a book and it's a bit more like you go in the flow and like things come through you, but this is, as you said, so multimedia. There's channeled messages, there's the art, and then we'll come to it later, but there's obviously like all the choice that comes to printing. And I've got the cards here and they are just so perfect to the touch and the box and everything. So how did you feel when you realized, like, oh my God, this is going to be like such a wild journey, just actually taking into consideration all the different ways that is going to be created?
Yeah. So for me, I knew when I got that message, oh, it's an oracle deck, that was just right. Because I feel like we're at a time when we need tools that help us tap into our own inner guidance, into our own truth, into our own strength, our own power, our own self-agency. The world is out there enough telling us you need to do this, look this way, be this person, show up like this. So this is a tool that helps you to remember who you truly are instead of telling you who you are. And I think books can often be a bit more instructional, like, oh, take this 5-step process or whatever it is and everything will be better. And in the oracle deck, there's a lot more possibility and potentiality and space for the person who's experiencing it to really insert their own journey into it. So we really go on a journey together with an oracle deck, and it's something where, you know, I'm providing inspiration and guidance, but you get to choose your own adventure of how you dive into it. And so for me, I really went into this journey as an adventure, certainly, and, you know, really didn't know what it was going to be like, but I knew that I had to change my entire life for it. You know, I lived in New York for 20 years, and literally the deck book, this creation, said, you need to leave or else we're not coming through. We don't want to be born here. So I literally had to uproot my entire life and move halfway across the country in the beginning of COVID to create and have space. I created this cosmic creation nursery that I'm in here now speaking to you from. And this is where the deck was born from. And it actually was a nursery for the family who lived here before. It was the kids' playroom. And there's actually this like soft plushy carpet, and it like really is a nursery. And I thought, how's that going to be for a studio? But it's turned out that I've loved it because I've needed to just sometimes roll around on the floor and move and be in my ecstatic embodiment and, you know, be connected to the land, which is what I was able to do leaving New York City, and connect into the sacred land here in the heartland, in the Midwest of the US. And so it really was an opportunity for me to come home and to practice the medicine in the deck. So as I created the deck, I was in the process of really deepening and integrating all the medicine myself as well. So I was going on the journey that then I'm now bringing forward and sharing. It's like the you know, the sort of mythic heroine's journey where you go into the depths and then you come back with a boon for society to offer, that is a healing gift, that is medicine. And I really see that that's what this is. This is medicine. Each of these is a medicine pill. Each of them is a portal into another world that, you know, truly can transform you in all the best ways so that you can step into the fullness of who you are. And one of the other things I'll say about the structure of the guidebook, because the art pieces were done for a while, and the biggest challenge, the like sort of, there were lots of edges that I got pushed into, and the biggest edge was around channeling from the art and putting that into a public, putting that out into the public, because I did a past life regression and discovered that I had been killed in a past life for being an oracle. And so I'd hid my oracular capacities in my artwork. I didn't have to speak it, so it was safe, right? All of my visionary capacities went into my art, but then when it came to channeling the book, it was like, and my entire being like seized up and I couldn't move forward. And, you know, we originally did a crowdfunding campaign, so this was all really lifted in community. And the original due date was July. It didn't end up getting in here until October, as you know. And so it's just, I hit all these points of deep transformation and alchemy that I had to go through. So I did a profound soul retrieval to call back and remember that part of myself, that past life, that soul essence as the oracle. And I have a Pisces moon, which is very much that archetypal energy. I've been an oracle for many, many lifetimes. And so I called that back in and reintegrated it, and then was able to channel the majority of the guidebook in a few weeks before the 8/8 Lionsgate portal. And so, but it was like, these are the kinds of things that happened along the way, these huge initiations. And so, you know, it really is so supportive, the deck, in initiatory times, especially because it is filled with the medicine of moving through initiation in a way that is filled with grace and wisdom and support and guidance, and really trusting, deep trust in the process. And so I just so many times had to surrender and trust the process, trust the process, trust the process. So yeah, that's some of the medicine.
That's fascinating, and I love how you mentioned that piece about just moving radically from one place to the next. And you say that in passing, but like, you and I know that it's just one hell of a thing to close a chapter, especially 20 years in such a mythical city as New York, and with, I imagine, all the comfort attachment that come from, you know, building a life for yourself there, and just really delving into the uncertainty of moving to Missouri, is it? And just finding a place to birth this thing that is emanating through you. It does require a lot of courage, and I just really, really applaud you for that. It's definitely very inspiring. It's something that resonates with me, because I feel like this is what I'm going through now, and I feel like a lot of people are as well, just finding the courage to step into the unknown. And as you said, I think it's the perfect timing for such a self-empowering tool as this deck. So, well, thank you for creating it.
Oh, you're so welcome. And also thank you to the land here that supported me. I'm on Sioux Native land, and there's a lot of great mother energy here. And this is the cave state in St. Louis where I am. And the cave state, you know, the caves really communicated with me. There's also a lot of quartz here in the land that it wanted to help support my rebirth and the birth of this deck. So the land here also really helped to birth this energy. So also thank you to the land that held me in this journey.
Thank you to the land. And I just like, I can't help it, just speaking with you, and I'm just really, really just receiving your energy, and I just love how it is transmitting and how it really, really just inspires people to to harness that part of themselves that is sparkling shamelessly. And you were mentioning the structure of the book, and that is also something that I was going to get to, because, you know, it's quite a dense book. There's like at least 2 pages for each card, if not 3. And from my own experience with writing, I know that whenever I write and whenever I feel like the thickness of it just traversing me, and it's a beautiful experience, but it just, I need like some period of restoration after that. And I was wondering, like, how was that whole channeling these messages through the art? Did you have like maybe a rhythm? Did you just wake up each day and be like, okay, like which card is wanting to be expressed today? Or, and did you ever like get to a point where it was maybe a bit too much? Did you have to like regulate the rhythm of it? I'm curious about how all of these channeled messages were transmitted, because then when I met you to do the actual layout, it was just so much text, and I was like, how did that emerge from you?
Yeah, it's true. And having to like condense it down. I mean, there was a great distillation process. I can really say that that was like the main part of this, was fierce distillation, and then working with you around the typesetting of like, this is as many words as can fit on these 2 pages. So you have to condense it down. And so there was that real practical grounding Virgo structure element that came in that was so helpful in that process, because it is like distillation in a sense. It's like when rose oil is made, it takes 1,000 petals of rose to make 1 drop of holy oil. And, you know, it's astounding. And so it's that level. And so for me, my crown chakra is very open most of the time. And it's a galactic stargate, and there's things that are streaming through all the time. And so when it came to finally streaming and channeling the messages, I was up at like 3 a.m. pretty much, 3, 4 every morning, and just like letting it come through. And it was, the cards sort of said, okay, it's me now, it's me now. They sort of stepped forward. And I have this copper meditation pyramid, this 5-foot pyramid that's usually here in front of this piece, and I sit inside of it, and it's sort of like my spaceship, and I'm surrounded by my crystal skulls and all of my magical tools, and it's my own sort of alchemical vessel that I went inside of and channeled inside of. And for me, I'm so grateful actually for Otter. This is not a product placement, but I'm going to mention it, Otter AI, because my friend Sherry Paris, who wrote this incredible book on being a trans ally, utilized this to transcribe interviews that she was doing, and it's super accurate. And I checked it out myself, and it was amazing. And so that's mostly how I wrote it. I actually didn't write it. I spoke it, and it was transcribed by AI. So there is a very Aquarian technological element to this, because most of this was transcribed. Some of it had been teachings, wisdom teachings that had been coming through over time, the more divinatory meanings as well. So a lot of those weren't channeled, but almost all the channeled messages came through in that way as of transcription. So I was literally just channeling and speaking it, and it was coming through. And I've really realized that for me, in terms of my medicine and how I transmit, like I come across better and transmit the essence of sparkling shamelessly better when I'm speaking, when I'm on camera, when I'm in front of people, when I'm in live space. And so for me, that's a way that I transmit more of my medicine than through writing. So part of the condensing process was also like distilling that medicine in so that it was still captured even in the written form. That's why it's so dense, because it was that, the power of the holy oil.
Yes.
1,000 petals in 1 word.
That makes so much sense. It makes so much sense that you mentioned that tool, and it must have definitely saved you at least a bit of time.
Yeah.
In terms of composing the text. So yeah, so on the one hand, you've got all of these artworks that have been gathered over the years. And then we get to the book with all of your channelings. And so here we are after the 808 portal, which is my birthday. And you're like, so can you like help me with the usual at the beginning? You just wanted some feedback on like the layout of the box, right? And then you mentioned the guidebook, and and you asked me to maybe have a look at it, and you already had someone lined up for it. And as we spoke about it, it was just, for me, I think what ignited the interest in it was that I love, 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 love typesetting. I love typography. I love like ordering information, structuring language on a page just so that it can be received by whoever uses it in the most optimal way. And so I was like, so Lainie, so how long is this guidebook? And I think it's like, what, 150 pages?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you mentioned the deadline, which was like ridiculous. And we both felt into it. And I think what drew me in really was first the challenge of it. I had never typeset that huge amount of text before. At least not working for myself. You know, I did it when maybe I was interning or working with agencies. So I think it kind of, in hindsight, I realized that it represented the actual purpose of your deck, which was like self-empowerment. And for me to, I think I felt intuitively that this is going to like really land me in my zone of genius, which is working in a very meticulous way with typography. And it really did just that. So for me, where to begin with this? So then we agreed on doing the work, and it's mad to imagine that we really did it over 5 days, because I remember we connected on the Wednesday and you wanted to get it to print by the full moon, I think, which was on Sunday. And so we got to work, and I was just sifting through all that text and laying it out. And I remember I just like put on some electronic music and I went into the zone and I worked on it for hours. And what I really enjoyed about this collaboration is that it's always so delicate, right? When you first of all, when you do this kind of work for somebody and you're by yourself and you don't really have anybody to help you with the work, but also the fact that I knew that this was important for you. So it was that sense of like, I hope I don't fuck this up. But at the same time, it was also a chance for me to acknowledge the things that I've developed over the years, the capacities that I've developed over the years. And what I really enjoyed was the fact that we just interacted via voice messages and phone calls, because I'm in Strasbourg, France. You're in St. Louis, Missouri. There's like an ocean between us and 7 hours of difference. But I mean, you were waking up at 3 a.m., which was also my morning. I do want to get back to that. Like, I don't know if there's a significance with that specific time. And so, yeah, I think what and tell me if you agree, but there was this sense of just being able to get to the point, and both of us are very artistic and very creative. And what I loved is that at no point was there any friction, because I felt like I could communicate the things to you that were in my area of expertise. And the moments when I drifted a bit to things that weren't my area of expertise, then you kind of stepped in and said, well, like, this is non-negotiable. And the things, and similarly for you, there were moments where you were like, well, how about this? I have 50 new ideas for this page. and I was like, I don't think it's gonna fit in. So I really like that. I feel that it's so rare to have that kind of interaction. It wasn't really like, there wasn't any hierarchy. I think we were really on an equal footing, and that's what I really enjoyed in that process. So yeah.
I really love that. And, you know, for me, most Oracle decks usually have multiple collaborators. There's usually a writer and an artist and an editor and all these other things. And for me, it was like I was doing all of it myself and, you know, really wanted that in some way. So for me, like the trust piece of trusting somebody to come in and be a doula for this massive birth, you know, was definitely an edge. And, you know, originally I had asked around, you know, the title, like of helping find a font for the title. And then I remembered you had done a sample page for the guidebook as well, just sort of as a happy accident. And I was like, oh, I actually really like that. That's what I was looking for. And it kind of like led into this deeper dive and, you know, bringing the medicine forward and just, you know, knowing that we've entered into the Aquarian age and this is such a tool, a medicine tool for the Aquarian age, that the Aquarian age is very much about collaboration and cooperation and coming together to bring things into being. So it was just such a beautiful synergy and synastry as we came together and as we did this dance and shared our medicine. It's like the combination of our medicine created this beauty and this alchemy that created the final product that was able to be born with the typesetting in the guidebook. That is just, you know, it's so easy to access. It really just, people are really easily able to receive the medicine because of your gifts. So it's like our gifts were able to dance together and create this holy third. And it's just a really beautiful sacred marriage.
You put it in words that are much more eloquent than I even attempted. Very much so, very much resonating with the aspect of like dancing and the collaboration and the co-creating and the birthing. And I think that since that time, I have definitely been using that term a lot, that term of, and for that period, my journal had that on the title, what is being called to be birthed through me, because it was also something that came up in a reading that you offered me. And to see all of these creative ideas that are just flowing through us, that really helped me to kind of be in a different rhythm than I had been, which was in the past much more structured, much more ordered, whereas now is just the sense of like, well, when the surge comes, I am receptive to it and I'm here for it, and then it's about taking that restorative time. And during those, even during those 5 days of intense work for both of us, we were able to have some restorative time. And which meant that I remember on the last stretch on the Saturday, I think I just worked like, we were there until the end, and but I was reignited in the energy because I was already invested in it. And I don't think I've been so invested in a creative project. It almost felt like the same energy that I invested in my own personal projects, which is like a terrible thing to say like in public. Like I care more about my personal projects than other people's projects. Like nobody's gonna hire me now. But I think, so this is where I want to get to. For me, the turning point with this project in my own envisioning of my crafts and then in my own envisioning of like, well, what do I actually want to use this crafts for, was really, really important. Because I was working on the book, and because of time constraints, I didn't necessarily have time to read it all. Because usually when you typeset, you kind of read it, and you know, when you do line breaks when you feel like there's a pause or a breath in the sentence. But here there was just so much text that I just kind of like skimmed through it, and thankfully you were rereading it, and some other friends of yours were also rereading it, just pointing out the mistakes or some like blatant stuff that I had missed. But inevitably, the energy of the book got imprinted on me while I was working on it, and I could really feel that. I could feel that with your benevolent energy and with the deeply, deeply medicinal and spiritual quality of the book. It seeped through me. And I think what made me realize is that well, why can't I just do projects like this? Why can't I just be a bit more discerning in the type of people that I choose to work with? because I don't think I had ever really understood that much, that the work and the collaborations that I invest my talent and energy in, their energy is going to affect me.
Yes.
And if I work for like somebody that, okay, like it pays well, and I benefit from it financially or just for the time being, but if it leaves an impact on me that is a bit like icky, it takes some time to get back up, you know, from that. So that was really such a valuable lesson for me, to just understand that, I mean, there's no time to fool around, you know, like this life is short. There's a lot of work to do, and you've taken time to just build your talents up. So don't give them away to whoever. I think that was the lesson for me. It's such a beautiful
Mm.
lesson. And but then it always, and inevitably it brings back that question of like, well, okay, so how do I envision my work and how much do I value it? Because I think for a long time I was waiting for other people to tell me like, this is what your work is. But my it's creative work. It's like super personal. It's like my way of transmitting things, my way of assimilating things. And yet I was always like waiting for people to tell me like how much it's worth, or what it's worth, or, and just being directed by my clients. So many ways that this project has been like a huge turning point for me. Yeah.
I love to hear that. And I mean, it's so true. What we do matters, and our medicine matters, and our gifts matter. And I really believe that we're each here to offer gifts and medicine to the ecosystem and the body of humanity. And without our unique nutrient that we are adding into the ecosystem, we can't thrive as a collective. And so the way that we're going to really bring forward this new earth and the new paradigm is each of us really owning the fullness of who we are, the medicine and the unique soul sparkle, what I like to call soul sparkle, that we have to bring, and really adding that into the ecosystem fully and letting it come forth, and knowing that each action we take each day, the alignment, the vibration and frequency with which we show up, and the choices we make a tremendous difference. That fierce alignment with our truth and with who we want to become, not just with who we are, who we've been, but who we're becoming. And that's really the revolutionary journey. It's R in parentheses. It's also evolutionary. This is how we are changing and growing and transforming and really igniting our full revolutionary potential, which is one of the core cards in the deck. Yeah. And, you know, and birthing that next level of ourselves and what we're here to bring, because many of us have creations that are meant to be birthed through us. There's even a yoni birth portal reading in the deck, and I loved the way that our beloved Zsofia here organized these in the deck and, you know, in the guidebook. And so this medicine is, it's we're here, we are birthing, we are creating, we are cosmic creatrixes, we're all creators. And I believe that we're here to co-create our lives as a great masterpiece for the good of all. And we each have that unique stroke that we are adding to the cosmic masterpiece. And that stroke is needed, or it will be lost forever. And so it is my greatest hope that this deck can ignite, as it did for you as you were working on it, that medicinal quality, that it empowered you to more of you. And, you know, for me, it's like, I'm here to help people come wildly and unapologetically alive in the core of who they are, in their truth, in their essence, in their radiance, and that is medicine for the world in itself. And so if the deck can truly do that and offer personal and planetary transformation to those who receive it, that is the deepest gift for me. And to see people living their medicine, you know, and to be in the world and to be sparkling shamelessly and being a presence of light, love, and healing is truly the greatest gift. And I feel that you are very much well on your way to that. So it is a great delight to witness.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. And thank you for that very potent reminder indeed. And yeah, I mean, just to close off on what's been going on for me, but the interesting thing, and you know, with hindsight, everything is connected. But after I finished this project for you, I found another project that is just really, really heavy with typography and typesetting. And it is my own book, like my own creation. And it's about like 1,500 pages long now, and I've been working on it as soon as I got off your project. And the thing that ignited it was also something really quite unsettling that happened on the first day of our collaboration. So like now I see how these two are linked, and as I was helping you birth your own project, it's almost as if you were like igniting that thing to be birthed in me. So it's really a beautiful cycle, for which I'm very grateful. Something else that I wanted to touch on, because the deck has been released for what, like a month now?
Yeah, it was born on October 30th. It is a Scorpio Sun, Capricorn rising, with Pluto straight on the ascendant.
Brilliant. And I know that you were mentioning like how obviously like thrilling it is to receive it, how you had also anticipated a moment of like grief as it is released into the world. It's no longer part of you. It's out there to do its magic. And the queasiness of seeing it like being handled and touched and utilized. And as you were mentioning before, it's that like this is the mission and the passion that animates you, and I can feel it. And like you've clearly done it for me. Like I can only imagine like the magic that it does for people. But I'm wondering like how does that feel, you know, to just suddenly have something that you've worked on for probably about 20 years, and just this past year only just really being in that intensity of creating it, where just like when we worked together, it was this flow of like, I need to do this, and it's this beautiful energy, and then you're blast out of that and your creation is out in the world. And how do you handle that? Because I see how you honor, you know, me and other people who use your deck, but I'm wondering like does the energy kind of like get really depleted at any point because you're just like really sensing everybody interacting with your creation, and how do you deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely after the deck was born and she really arrived and I sent it out into the world, you know, going to 13, like it literally went all around the globe. And so there was a big dispersion of energy. And, you know, I did realize with some support of one of my mentors that, you know, I really needed postpartum care. I was even experiencing some physical symptoms in my body that only women who have given birth usually have. And so there was actually a psychosomatic post-birth situation that was happening. And with that postpartum care, like I needed to have created a bit more space and to call in a lot more support, like literal, physical, tangible support, like people cooking me food and coming to wash, like clean my house and, you know, that kind of thing, because it was such a huge outpouring of energy and, you know, such a huge culmination that, yes, it really, there were times that I was definitely at the edge of real, true exhaustion. And, you know, having as a mother that had just given birth, and this is the closest I will come to actually physically giving birth in this lifetime, because that was a message I got a long time ago, that I'm not here to add to the human race. I'm here to create projects that are going to help support the human race in their evolution. And so, you know, I'm here to be that lightning catalyst. And so for me, it was so helpful when I did the astrological reading for her, because she's very much a feminine presence, because she has her own potent energy now. And I feel it. She's very much like, as people are interacting with her, they're creating their own, developing their own relationship with her that is completely outside of me. And so getting that reading was really helpful, because, and just deepening with her astrology as well, since I'm a student of astrology, it just really, you know, it just really enabled me to see and know and understand how to tend to her and how to care for her, and that she's a badass and that she's here to create some serious transformation, and she's here to work with, you know, global change makers and the people that are really on the edge of this new paradigm and really transforming culture in a lot of ways. And so, you know, at this point, there's less than 40 copies left of the deck. And so it's like, I'm at this place now of, okay, like I need to make sure that everyone that I really felt needed to get this first first edition, limited edition copy receives it. And so, yeah, I'm kind of in that place right now of just feeling in. And of course, if you are interested in getting a copy, now would be the time before they sell out. And so, yeah, and it's gone off to some publishers. So that is the ideal, is that I will have publishing support for the second edition. And so that is where it stands right now. But yeah, and I think that will be really helpful, because that's like bringing in a nanny, you know, it's like bringing in somebody to help care for the baby and like tend to the baby and take care of the baby, and like bringing in aunts and other people that can tend to this energy and love and care for this energy and help tend and steward this energy out in the world, which is very much what mothers do. It's very thankless work, but it's some of the most profound work that there is, tending to beings and energies in the world that you know are being born anew and will bring new visions and new creations and new beauty to the world. So
I do love that analogy that you did, and I with motherhood and with birthing, and I love that you honored your creation in that way, to just really give her the space to expand and to grow, and to also facilitate that detachment with her, and just be like, this is the work that I've done, now what's the next step? So 40 copies out of how many that you printed?
There was 500 in this first round.
Wow. In like a bit more than, in like a couple of weeks, 5 weeks or so. That is.
And blanketed all around the globe, which delights me, even in Israel. I mean, it delights me all the different places that the deck has gone.
I really see that as, you know, like the lights exiting, and just like your little stars here, just
like the constellation. Yes, yes, and yes. You can kind of see more of it. It's like, that's us, the constellation of us, sparkling shamelessly. We are here. We are doing it, and you know, that's how we're going to create and really call in this new paradigm. And there's big work to be done in the next many years, and I know that we're here for it. We chose to be here, and we're on the transition team, and so I'm grateful to be partnering and collaborating and calling in Aligned Soul Family to join the journey. And that's part of the reason that I put together the Sacred Revolution Global Festival that we have going on right now. We're on day 4 of 5 of this profound healing journey with over 30 global luminaries that are sharing amazing medicine gems, and it's very intimate and it's raw. Each of them was assigned one of the 50 cards from the deck, and they've interpreted it in any way they want. So there's songs and rituals and ceremonies and such juicy content. It's not like any other summit you've been a part of. It's really a first of its kind. And for me, it is about lifting up each other's medicine. It is about lifting up humanity. It is about lifting up our consciousness and really ascending in our consciousness to a whole new way of being. And so, you know, I feel like that's really a big part of it. And so for me, it is that empowering people to be in their fullest self and to bring that forward, and that together, that's how we're gonna really step into this new world together that is really about balance and justice and freedom and liberation for all, that is healed and that is radiant and that is holy and sacred, that we return and that we remember what matters most, and that we end that lie of separation, and most of all, come home to each other.
Oh, this is so powerful. And yeah, I just want to applaud you, because to kind of create this festival after just having gone through the whole process of making the deck, printing the deck, then shipping the deck with everything that's going on as well in terms of the issues with the shipping, and making sure that people receive it, and tending to the people who receive it too in such a beautiful way through your campaign, and now just putting together this incredible festival. I am in awe of the energy that you are ceaselessly able to gather from inside of you. And I think it's just such a testament to the fact that what animates you is really, really what you're meant to do. And it's such a perfect example of alignment and just contribution and passion, and it's very inspiring, Lainie. So thank you so much for joining me on this call. Wow, we've almost been going on an hour. I do want to let you have a nap because I know that you have so much going on. It's been mad, it's been crazy, it's been awe-inspiring. I love the deck. The people who are watching this, get your hands on it. Probably at this point, there's even less than 40 left. So the Sacred Revolution Oracle deck.
And the amazing guidebook that would not be without our beloved Zsofia. So this was truly a co-creation, and so grateful for you adding your medicine and your gifts, and just like your love and, you know, deep love of typesetting, and just how much it delights you to do this. For me, it makes me feel mad, and for you, it's like, yes, I love it, more, please. And that's the thing. It's like finding that the synastry with others, that, you know, if we like take our strengths and put them together, and, you know, instead of trying to like struggle, the old story of struggle is so old paradigm. That does not need to be about struggle, you know. And so it's really coming into that new way of being. And so thank you for your medicine, and for being a doula of this profound birth in the world. And yes, absolutely, go get your deck if you don't have it yet. You can just go to LainieLoveDalby.com, Laine, and Love Dalby, and go to the Oracle deck section. You'll find it. And yeah, just so grateful to you, beloved, and grateful for this opportunity to have this conversation and just share in the medicine and the magic. And may we continue to bring our medicine and magic forward for the good of all.
May it be so indeed. Yeah. Lovely to see you, Lainie. And thank you for everybody who joined. Thank you for everybody watching the replay. May we indeed keep unearthing our own magic and bringing it into the world. It's been lovely to speak to you. It's been lovely to see you all. Let me stay lucid so that I can save this video. Bye, everybody.
Bye, beloved. So great to see you.